All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Javier. I am a person who has stopped stuttering and one of the certified. You're with the sunglasses.
Yeah, this is better.
It's sharp, man. It's sharp.
All right. So as I was saying, I'm a person who has stopped stuttering and one of the certified speech coaches of the World Stop Stuttering Association. As I was saying, my name is Javier, and today is the 12th of June of the year 2023. And in this session, we are speaking with both Nadim from Lebanon. Say hello, Nadim.
Hello, everyone.
And also we have Danny from Connecticut. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Very good. As usual, I'm going to start giving a little bit of information about our student, who is Nadim, because Danny, he's a person who has stopped stuttering and who is now learning to become a certified speech coach. So the student today is simply a Nadim. So Nadim, he's 19 years old. He's originally from Lebanon. He is a student in the UK in London, a university student. He began stuttering at around age 6 to up to, I've got it somewhere here, to up to where is it? Where is it? To up to, where is it? Why am I unable to find it? Well, where is it? All right, but so yeah, so yes, so to around to 50% of his words, it depends on the situation. So for him, his starter, it used to consist mainly on long silences. For him, like speaking to groups of people, like, yeah, and also situations where they ask him for his full name, his address, or his phone number. Those were for him the highest situations, the highest pressure situations. Now he is a person who has stopped stuttering. Now his success story is done, is available on the website and everything. So he is now a person who has stopped stuttering, and as such, we are working on fighting the residual fears, on learning to love to speak. Our first coaching session took place on the end of February of this year, so we have been speaking for around 3 months or 4 months or so. This is our coaching session number 15. Our last coaching session was exactly a week ago. Over there, he said that his speech it's improving every time that we speak. He is applying his speech plan more consistently, and therefore thinking less words. So he's thinking more of ideas and the message and all that stuff. Also, I think that it is really important, and that I have been speaking a lot about it in our last sessions, it's on rejecting all negative thoughts immediately, and also celebrating the successes every time he says something fluently. And I'm not speaking about like really perfect, smooth speech. No, if it is fluent, although you may have a few like hesitations, like I just did, that is also
Okay.
speech, right? So if you don't appear speech disabled, I mean clearly speech disabled, that is fluent speech, and that is a success. So you should celebrate it. More thing. You also said on our last session that you feel still a little bit of anxiety when you meet with new people, so we spoke a little bit about those situations that you have to see them as opportunities instead of being like afraid or concerned about speaking there. You have to see it as an opportunity to improve your speech, to meet new people, to learn something new, to have fun. So you have to see them as opportunities. And of course, they are never going to be a threat. I mean, I doubt they are going to be like, I mean, that you're going to be under a threat of death or no. I mean, so you must never be afraid or fearful of those situations. See them as opportunities. I am going to use my speech plan. I'm going to speak fluently. I'm going to expand my comfort zones and so on. Also, you are going to be the speaker at SAM in around a month, right? Or so.
In 2 months,
In 2 months, yes, that's it.
yes. And I'm going to be the host next Saturday.
Next Saturday, that's it.
Yeah.
So I think that you and I discussed in our last few sessions is that to be like really at ease and comfortable in your SAM talk, you have to expand your comfort zones and slowly speak a little bit more at the SAM meeting so that you feel a little bit more comfortable every time.
I
So
spoke on the Saturday.
I know that, and I must say you did a really good job over there. So that you speak slowly, that you spoke slowly, it stops. I think you use a little bit of
Spoke with passion. I
with
spoke with
passion,
passion.
extreme pronunciation, I think. So I
Maybe a
think
bit.
maybe a bit, yes, exactly. So I think you did a really good job over there. So with all
Thanks
this,
to you, Javier.
thank you about that. So, uh, so now with all this information, if you could give a little bit of information, since this is the first session that we have with us, with us, Annie, if you could give a little bit of information about yourself, your speech, I mean, about yours. So if you could give like a summary of your success story, right?
A summary of my success
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, as you now know, my name is Nadim. I'm 19 years old. I am originally from Lebanon, but I study as a student in London, in the United Kingdom, and my major is business management with digital innovation and entrepreneurship. So I started stuttering at around age 6, and through my teenage years, it started to become worse and worse. So I started avoiding social situations where where there was large people, and it's there where my social anxiety grew. So it became a problem, a big problem in my life, because I was not hanging out with a lot of people, and it affected my anxiety as a whole. So I forgot when exactly I started my first, what do we call them? Uh, speech
So
therapist, speech therapist.
I guess if you're speaking about the sessions that you and I are having, it's simply
No.
session. Oh, all right.
I'm talking about like people who didn't stutter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can
They are
call it just
therapists.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started doing a lot of many sessions with different therapists, and all of them gave me some advice, but as you probably know, because you yourself, you're a P, PWSS, you know that they don't work. So I don't know how I came across Lee and his book, but I am grateful for him and for Coach Javi, of course. And it's maybe in 2021, I found this book, the third edition it was, I believe. So I started reading it, and then I started coaching sessions with him in February, and it's where I started improving my speech by reading aloud, by doing daily mind training, by using the crutches, mainly by attending crutch practice sessions, although I won't lie to you, I wasn't consistent in attending these practice sessions. I was still able to improve my speech relatively quickly, I assume. Is that right,
Yes,
Coach Xavier?
I'm going to check it in my notes because if I'm not mistaken, you were able to stop stuttering really fast. Since our first
Yeah, I'm
coaching
not sure
session, you stopped
how
stuttering in exactly a month after our first coaching session. Then you had a small relapse.
he loves.
Then again, you were able to overcome.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah.
What else can I say? Of course, I keep on doing the daily mind training, and I'm hoping to attend the crutch practice session later today with John.
Good.
Yeah, and basically that's it. I'm also rewatching a bit of videos on the website, for example, about that like the tips.
Mm-hmm.
There's it like a tips. What's it called?
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Very good. I don't know if you have anything to say, any questions, any,
Any questions to Danny? Yes,
or
I do
just
have some
or
questions to ask
from.
him.
Okay, fine.
I wanted to ask him first, uh, how did you find out about Lee? Was it hard for you to become a P, P, PWSS? And also, how come you would want to be a certified coach?
Okay, those are all good questions. Basically, I found Lee's brilliant book through a Reddit user. I remember one user posting on the page saying how, giving encouragement to PWS. And I direct messaged the user on the side saying, thank you for your heartfelt message. I appreciate it. And then he or she recommended the book, How to Stop Stuttering and Love Speaking. And he or she was saying that the book is amazing. It helped me reduce my stutter greatly. So, of course, I went on Amazon. I bought it. I began reading it. It literally spoke to my heart and soul. It's possibly the greatest book that I've ever read. And I would say maybe after a month of reading it, because I read that book pretty quick. I read it under 2 weeks because I would read exactly 50 pages a day. Because, like the book says, we need to hear many fluency coming from our lips and not disfluency. So that's why I enjoy at least reading an hour or two a day. And for your last question, I want to become a certified speech coach because I will forever be grateful for this program. I had very low self-esteem before joining this amazing program. and just Lee and the other coaches, because I've watched Lee's videos, but I've also watched many other videos of the other coaches like Javi, Perdusha, I think Doug, Leah, all of them. So I want to be exactly like them and help as many people out there, because as you know, there's 70 to 80 million stutterers. So if I could be like Javi helping you and do it with someone else, it'll be totally worthwhile. And I just want to give back to this program and help out as many people.
Fantastic.
That was a great speech.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you,
Thank
Danny.
you. Thank you.
All right, let's continue a little bit with the coaching session. Okay, so my first question for Nadim is, if since our last coaching session, which was exactly a week ago, is there any improvement in your speech, yes or no? And if so, why?
Yes, I would say there is a lot of improvement in my speech,
Okay, fantastic.
especially in high pressure situations. I don't feel as much anxiety as before. For example, with a large, like when there is a large group of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say this is mainly due to expanding my comfort zones slowly, like bit by bit. Um, what else?
Okay,
So I
about
think
that,
overall, yeah. Sorry,
so
say
you're saying that your speech has improved a lot, especially in high pressure situations, mainly thanks to
yeah,
expanding your comfort zones. How?
yes. How?
Yeah.
So, so okay. So for example, let's say 2, 3 months, uh, like no, actually, I'm not sure when, but before, if there is like maybe like a party or a gathering, I would try to stay at home rather than attending it
Okay.
due to fears, due to fear. But for
Mhm.
example, now I think no, I think if I go out, then it is an opportunity for me to to prove myself that I can speak anywhere and everywhere.
That's it. That's it. So, for example, and so now in these past few days or weeks, I've been going more to speaking to groups of people at parties.
I
And
don't
so,
go, no, I don't go clubbing or I don't like party.
all right, but
Yeah,
you
I
go
know.
out with friends or
Yeah,
yeah,
with like a gathering, yeah, with many people.
fantastic, fantastic.
Uh, yeah, like I would introduce myself and I would be more relaxed
Okay, I
than
also
previously.
assume that you use a speech plan over there, right?
Of course I do.
And about so if you could explain your speech plan, all the elements that comprise that speech plan, and
Okay.
of all those elements, which do you think are the most useful ones?
Okay. So my speech plan is simple but very effective. It's short increments, passion, and it was soft voice, but I don't use it a lot. I only use soft voice if, for example, uh, I'm in a high pressure situation or I feel like I will block. I start speaking more softly, so I avoid the stutter.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly I exaggerate my speech plan. I watched one of these videos where he explained that you can have an emergency speech plan. So my emergency speech plan isn't like, it's more or less the same. It's just that I use more extreme pronunciation and longer stops so shorter increments.
Very
So
good.
for example, 1 to 3 words instead of 1 to 5 words.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, the extreme pronunciation helps you to slow down,
Mm.
right? So I think it is a really good idea. Um, so you said that you have been now that you now feel a lot more comfortable speaking in the high pressure situation. So now I guess you feel fine, right? Speaking to groups of people, right? With
Of
friends.
course, I still have fear sometimes,
Okay.
but the good thing is that I know how to avoid appearing speech disabled.
Of course, of course. But for example, in all those situations with
Yeah.
friends in which you gather with friends and a lot of people, on a scale from a 0 or a 1, in which it is a really low pressure situation in which you don't feel any fear, any just you speak fluently, it's really easy. And a 10, it's the highest pressure situation. These situations, in which part of the scale do you think they are?
You mean with friends that are close to me or not
No,
very
in all
close?
those situations then which you meet with friends at a
Uh,
party or with or you meet in groups of friends and so on.
um, probably a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Okay, so you still
Yeah,
feel a lot of so you
no,
still feel
actually,
hmm,
and it also, no, it depends because if I don't use my speech plan, my speech will get worse.
of course.
So when my speech is worse, I tend to feel much more anxiety.
All right.
Yeah,
But
and yeah, sorry.
for example, I guess you have been going to these meetings with your friends and everything.
Look, the thing is, I don't go out very often with many people, but it's
Like
just like,
you go like
yeah,
once a week or every few weeks.
yeah, once a week or every 2 weeks.
All right. So there, I mean, there is it that you use your emergency speech plan from the very beginning, or is it just after you have accumulated a little bit of anxiety and you see that your speech gets a little bit hesitant, you
Uh,
apply it?
uh, Usually, no. Usually, I just use my speech plan. And if I feel like I have a bit of anxiety, then I exaggerate by using extreme pronunciation.
Very good. So you always have the situation in control, right?
Yes, yeah,
That's
I
great.
am in control.
That's fantastic. Very good.
Because there's a very important quote that says, "You are what you think."
That's true. That is very
Your thoughts are very important.
yeah.
So,
I have
yeah,
also heard, I mean, I'm not sure about the exact words. It's like your thoughts become your beliefs become your
yeah.
actions, and so
Your
on,
action becomes,
and so on,
yeah,
right? So
I know. Your habits becomes your,
that's it,
yeah,
that's it, that's it.
yeah, I know it.
And exactly. So yeah. So okay, fantastic. More questions. More questions. More questions.
Can I ask him a
Of
question real quick, Javi?
course, of course, of course, of course.
Okay. I think you said this earlier, but you practice daily mind training every single day, right? Okay.
Yes,
Okay, that's
I
good.
practiced it once in the morning and once in the evening.
Fantastic, because that's exactly what I do too. And I just want to say, whatever like you feel like you're in a, that's great.
The
You have it on
affirmation.
paper. That's great, man. I just
Yeah.
want to say, wherever like you feel like most pressure, just flood your mind with your daily positive affirmations. Because I'm going to tell you a story of what happened yesterday when I went grocery shopping with my father. Now, it was the same exact place where I had my last bad incident over, I think, a year or two ago. And my father's Portuguese, so his English is not very good. Like he feels he doesn't communicate well, even though I personally think he communicates well. I think he speaks better English than most people actually speak English. So he really doesn't want to go up to the deli department and order, cheeses, meats, and all that. And I remember a year or two ago, I went up there, and then in my mind, I was just saying to myself, I know I'm going to stutter. I know I'm going to stutter. I know I can't say this brand of cheese. So eventually, when I did the order, of course, I stuttered and I had a long block. Now, yesterday, my father asked if I wanted to go grocery shopping with him. And instead of fearing, because I know he wanted to order a type of cheeses and meats, instead of fearing it, I fighted it. And I actually went up there and I was flooding my mind with my positive affirmations, saying, I love to speak, I won't plan my words and all that. And I got up there and I ordered everything that my father wanted, and I did it with class and ease. So just remember, flood your mind with your daily positive affirmations.
That is excellent advice.
And by the way, you speak very well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Like, yeah, very fluent. I like
Appreciate
it.
it. Thank you.
For sure.
What did I want to ask you? Yes, because for me, for example, sometimes I fear saying my name.
Right.
So now, like every time I want to say my name, I say the affirmation, I love to speak, I love to say my name, Nadim. Uh, yeah, but sometimes, like your mind tries to control you. You
Yeah.
have to, y- you have to control it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. I also had a bad incident back in 2012 where I attended jury duty, and then all of us were sitting in a room and we basically had to say our first name and last name. And I was able to say my first name pretty well, but then in my last name, I did have a long block. So that's again one of my daily affirmations, saying, I love to speak, I love to say my full name.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And also, I want to ask you, how do you not think words, not plan words? By
Um,
saying the affirmation or by
yes,
for
yes.
taking crutches?
Right. Yes, the
Crutches.
daily affirmations too, because one of them was I won't plan any words, I'll just let them flow, and definitely practicing the crutches. Because yesterday when I was ordering a type of cheese, it was American cheese, and I felt like I was going to stutter on the word American, so I just dropped the A, the first
American.
syllable, yeah, and it came out perfect. So
Hmm.
definitely use the crutches you feel most comfortable with. And my personal favorite is crutch number 1 and 4. It really helps me a lot.
I really like crutch one.
Yes, it's the best one. That's why it's first.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, and actually, Lee says that the easiest ones, if you cannot think of a synonym, it's actually crutches 1, 4, and 8.
Right.
So if you can drop the beginning of a word, go ahead and do it. And
So yeah,
sound.
so mm,
Then
yes,
sound. I mean, and Lee, he is seeing that with some of his students, the ah sound is easier than the sound, for example. So I guess it depends on the student. They have to see which one applies best for their case. Of course, I think that the best thing is to go from one sound to another, from one length to another. So go back and forth, back and forth. And then the modulation. I mean, it's extremely easy.
it's very useful.
Yeah. So if you can you can use the 3 or 4 crutches, go from one to
Mm,
back and forth. You are not going to have
yeah.
an issue with a first real word ever again. That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you were going to ask a question or say statement.
No, actually, I wanted to ask a question, but it's fine. No, no, no worries.
Very good. So I'm going to check my notes in case I wanted to ask you something, Nadim. Names. Yeah, so about names, is there any improvement about saying names? Is it getting easier to introduce yourself?
Yes, yes. For example, as I told you today, I had an appointment
Mm-hmm.
with a doctor. Uh, okay, like when I first when I when I uh, when I arrived there, they asked me for my name, so I said my name.
All right.
Uh, and then they asked me for because it was my first time there.
Mhm.
So they asked me for my date of birth and for my phone number,
Mhm.
and I said it very fluently. I
Fantastic.
was happy. I was very happy
All right.
because last time they asked me for my date of birth and I went silent.
Mm.
So big improvement.
And today, to say your name and your phone number and so on, did you use a crutch or you were able to say it just
I
like?
will tell you why, because I was confident, as Danny mentioned, when you think that you can say it, you will say it.
For sure?
If you say to yourself that I will stutter, you will stutter. So I said to myself, if I can say one word anywhere, anytime, I can say any word, anywhere, anytime.
That is
And
true.
it's working.
It's perfect, man. Excellent.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Fantastic. Some other questions that I have for you. About your speech plan. Just like you said, an important part it is to show enthusiasm. Uh,
Yeah.
so I would like to ask you, how do you focus on showing that enthusiasm in your speech?
Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I don't show it all the time. I'm not gonna lie to you. How do I show it? It's a hard question, to be honest.
I know it. I know that.
Um, so
So, for
whenever
example,
yeah,
do you think you speak always with a smile or most of the time with a smile? Or do
no,
you tell a few jokes here and there, or do you move your hands, or do you
yes, if I smile, then I speak with passion. It happened today
Mhm.
because actually today I started an internship at a local bank.
Okay,
It
nice.
was my first day, like it's only for a month. So
Okay,
I was smiling all the time and it worked.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I
Fantastic.
was making jokes. I was happy, and also I was working at the same time.
And you were working, and you were working.
Yeah.
Very good. Because see, for example, I I'm not sure if no, I think it was on Thursday or Friday that I told this story to another of my students.
Yeah.
I had told him that a way of that I'm doing to expand on my own comfort zones. For example, I started this month, a course, which sometimes they ask me questions in front of the whole class. I have to speak, of course. And the first day, because in my case, I have spoken a lot of times to groups of people on Zoom or Skype, but unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of opportunities to speak face to face to large groups of people. I think that the largest group I've been able to speak in like face to face, it's been like 5 or 6 people. But in this case, we were like 15 or 12 or so. And I can say that the first time I did speak fluently, I spoke well, I used a speech plan, but I felt anxiety. I mean, I felt anxiety at the moment I started speaking, but not before speaking. It was at the moment I started speaking that I started to accumulate anxiety, because I am not used to speaking in these situations. Then the second time, a few days after, I felt no anxiety, but I realized that I was speaking fast. So I saw an improvement because the anxiety disappeared, but my speech, it was a bit worse because I was speaking faster. Then the third time, which was a week ago, was last Thursday. I spoke really well. Why? I was speaking more or less, I'm doing right now, more or less slowly, a stop here and there. Of course, I can always improve, but I think I did a really good job. And I felt no anxiety. And just like you said, I told a few jokes. So yeah, fine. So I am actually seeing this course as a fantastic opportunity to expand my comfort zones, right?
Yeah.
That
What course is it?
So since I am going to get married in September, here since my girlfriend is a Catholic, we are going to get married by the Catholic Church, and the Catholic priest says that we have to take a course to get a little bit more, to know a little bit more about the meaning of marriage and blah blah blah.
So you have to talk.
So I have to talk because they are asking you questions about this and that and so on. So yeah.
It's, yeah.
So yeah, so they are asking you questions about your opinion about God. I don't know anything about that or about the Catholic religion because I don't know a single word. So I said, well, I don't know anything about this, but if you ask me, I will say this, and I start speaking, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, but I think it is fun. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so for example, and I think that this is a really fantastic example of how to see things instead of seeing the glass half empty or half full instead of half empty. For example, to all the people that I said that I have started this course, everyone says, oof, that course is horrible, it's so useless, it's so boring, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I think that I see it as a really good opportunity to expand my comfort zones, to improve my speech. So I am actually looking forward to going again today, because I have to go again today there. So I say, I'm going to expand my comfort zones. I'm going to improve. I'm going to speak really well.
Good. You will do it.
For sure. For sure. So yeah. So now at the stage in which you are, in which situations you feel still that you have that you feel a lot of anxiety, or you feel like enough anxiety to say, oof, this situation is still a little bit too difficult to control.
Um,
And of course, an answer that you can say is, I don't think I have, I don't think I feel that level of anxiety in any situation, and it's okay.
I'm trying to think because I don't feel a lot of anxiety at the moment.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, and for example, I don't know if you felt any anxiety this last SAM meeting in which I forced you to speak.
I won't lie to you. I don't know why, but I was very calm, very relaxed, no
Okay,
anxiety, no pressure, no nothing
fantastic.
for some
That's
reason.
awesome. That's awesome. And for example, since you have to go back to class at uni in October, right?
Yes, plenty of time.
I don't know if you feel now a little bit of you're a bit anxious about that or not.
Why?
I don't know, because I don't know if you have to speak in front of the whole class in any of the classes.
If anything, I feel less anxiety because my speech has improved.
Okay.
So, for example, if I need to give a talk in class, I now know how to be fluent, how to talk with fluency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So that's all.
so I'm excited actually.
That's
Fantastic.
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I wanted to ask you also, I read somewhere or heard that we can join Toastmasters
Yes,
for like
that's true,
talks. Do you think it could help me?
for sure.
And how do I join a group, or is it online, in person? I don't know how it
I,
works.
well, to be honest, I guess it depends on the place. I mean, for example,
Okay.
here in Spain, as far as I know, the only groups that there are, they meet like on Zoom or on Skype. So I doubt they make any physical like meetings. Uh Maybe since you are going to go back to London in October, I'm sure that you're going to be able to find like physical meetings like maybe once a month or so. So, and the other meetings, they're gonna be just like in the SAM meetings. That's like on Zoom or
Mm.
Skype or so on. So, but I think that they are going to help you a lot for sure. I mean, if you go to Google and you type a Toastmasters in London or in so on, you're going to find all these meetings. So yeah,
It's true. Abby, can I add something?
All right.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure, please.
I didn't really know how to sign up for Toastmasters because I did one about a month or two ago. And basically, like Abby said, just go on Google, type the city where you're from, and type in Toastmasters. And then it will give you a list of all the clubs. Now, I think some clubs you have to pay to get in there. And obviously, I didn't want to do that because I just wanted to go a few times. But there are clubs in which you could join and it's free. And usually it'll have the email of the person who's in charge of the Toastmasters club or their phone number. So you can email them or call them with more information, and they'll probably send you a link to Zoom or Skype to do a Toastmaster speech.
That's it.
Okay, perfect.
That's it.
Thank you.
Also, a thing that you can do if you're interested is that since you are now a PWSS, if you want, you can host your own group practice session over here.
Interesting.
And I think that is an excellent way to meet new people so that you can also lead a meeting. So you have that extra uh,
Mm.
right? So I think that is going to help you a lot. So, for example, if you, so since I am the one in charge of the schedule of the group practice sessions, if you can just send me a message or an email and say, hey, I would like to host group practice sessions, I don't know, on Sundays or on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Okay, here is the link, and you can go ahead and do it every week. If for instance there is a week that you are not able to do it because you're busy, because you have your life, you have an exam, you're on holidays, you say, you send me an email and say, I am not able to host meetings on the month of June, for example, or I'm not going to be able to host this meeting for this week only. No problem.
Okay,
That's fine. But I think it's
perfect.
going to help you a lot. Okay. Okay, guys, I don't know if you have any other comments, questions, anything? No? Okay, so as a quick summary of this session, Nadim, I think you're doing great, man. Your speech is fine. It's fluent. You, from all the things you say, you don't feel pressure. I mean, you rarely feel pressure. In the situations in which you do, you easily use a speech plan and have the situation under control. At the stage in which you are, the way to continue improving is focusing on enthusiasm. Say things like you mean it. You're speaking about something fun. Show that feeling with your body, with your hands, with your smile, with your voice. Continue to expand your comfort zones. I think that this week, this Saturday, that you are the host of the SAM meeting is going to help you a lot. Why? Because you're going to be in charge of the meeting, right? You're going to be in charge of the SAM meeting. So I think that's going to be great. About that, my advice, slow down. I mean, if you want, feel free to insert really long stops. Who cares?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you just one question.
Okay.
Do you think I should practice it, like reading it aloud?
Actually,
Like,
no. Actually, no.
I
Actually, no.
shouldn't.
My advice is that because if you no, because the thing that I would recommend you is to read aloud any book that you are now reading, novel or anything else, and do it as if you were in the SAM meeting.
Yeah, because I
But
think
I
I
don't think it
practiced.
is good to practice a script because maybe you're going to be overthinking of some words that you think you're going to have some issues. No, so I don't think you have to do that. So just read anything that you read on your everyday life and just make sure you use your speech plan very clearly. If you
And
use
also,
pronunciation, do it with clear stream pronunciation. Stops.
yeah,
Make your stops very clear. Just like you did this last Saturday, which you really did a really good job. But I don't think that it is a really good idea to practice uh, like the thing that you really have to read aloud unless you have to memorize it. I
okay.
mean, you can do it a few times, once or twice. That's
Okay,
it.
I won't.
That's it. Yeah.
Keep it a surprise. Uh, I just wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
when I read aloud, should I like insert many stops and extreme pronunciation? Because I feel like when I read aloud, I read like very very slowly. Is
You
it
think you
fine?
read very slowly. I'm going to show you how I will read. And since I have been doing it a few times already, I'm going to show you
Okay.
how I would read the first few sentences of the SAM introduction. Here it is. Give me a second. Let's see if it opens. Okay. So I'm going to start. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Javier, and I am the host and the moderator of this meeting of Speech Anxiety Masters, or SAM, the world's only speech club that focuses on alleviating speech anxieties. This is our, for example, 150th meeting.
Mm.
SAM is sponsored by World Stop Stuttering Association, the world's only community of ex-stutterers, and those fast becoming ex-stutterers, and so on. So here, I think that, I mean, I don't care if I finish to read my script 10 seconds later. Actually, I don't care. Since you are among PWS and PWSS, see it as an example to show them, hey, this is how you read like a king.
Okay.
So you have to make it clear. Of course, I am not asking you this. This is horrible, right? But yeah. so
Can I also add another thing, Abby?
sure.
Well, basically, in addition to doing mind training twice a day, I also like to read at least an hour or two a day, and I also like to practice the crutches. So when I'm reading an hour a day, for every single page, maybe on one page, I'll practice crutch 1, and then maybe on the next one, I'll practice crutch 9. So, because Lee often talks about in his books, if you stop this program, and then some people are bound to relapse, and I don't ever want to do that ever. So I will continue my daily mind training. I will continue practicing the crutches, and I will continue reading aloud. And I enjoy killing two birds with one stone by reading aloud and practicing the daily crutches while doing it. So
That's it. That's it. And of course, if you, I mean, you can do it as how to as a way to show people how you do it. And even if you don't need it, insert a sound at the start of a sentence. Feel free to do it. I mean, see that here people are seeking solutions. They are here to learn. If you show
Mm.
them, if you show them how to use a crutch, well, you are helping them. So yeah. Okay.
All right.
Very good. So unless you guys don't have anything else to say, my last question is to Nadim, when would you like to speak again?
All right. Let me see. Um, can we do it next Monday, but 1 hour earlier?
1 hour earlier, let me check. On the 19th, right? You're speaking. Sure.
The 19th of.
Okay, fantastic. We can do it. We can do it an hour on our earlier, sure.
All
19th
right.
of June at 4 p.m. my time. Very good. Of course, Danny, if you're free, you can come to this coaching session.
okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
Very good.
Nice to meet you, Danny.
You too, buddy. Likewise.
Okay, guys, so I will see you in a week. I hope you have a fantastic week. I look forward.
Javier, I will see you tomorrow in the crotch practice session.
Very good. So I will see you tomorrow at the crutch practice session. I hope to see you both at the SAM meeting and hope you
Hopefully.
have a fantastic week.
Same to
Okay,
you.
guys.
All right. Take it
Bye-bye.
easy.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.